Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today I've got my long-term review of the Hoyt Alpha X 33 hunting bow. There is quite a bit going on with Hoyt's newest bow, including the HBX Exact cam system. This is new for this year, and one of the interesting features for me is right up on the top or right up at the bottom, and it's basically a support system for your cam that allows you to kind of rest your cam on the hard packed ground without worrying about getting a bunch of dirt kind of on your string track or anything like that. The thing I really like about it at the bottom here is got a rubber liner around there. So it's going to be not only quiet if you're on concrete, but it's not going to scratch up. And you combine that with like the Go Sticks, which is an accessory I picked up as an addition this year. You don't need any other kickstand option. The Go Sticks and that cam option will just allow you to rest your bow just like this on pretty much any surface without worrying about mucking up your cam or getting in the way of anything. Also new are the Wire WRX strings with these new Hole Shot 2 string silencers. We're going to talk a little bit more about the quietness of this bow in a little while, but these are built right into the strings and they help kind of tame the noise and vibration down when you're shooting. Also new this year is the Vital Point grip, and Hoyt is calling this their most comfortable grip ever. And I will agree that it is very comfortable in the hands. I could maybe do without the sides kind of flaring out a little bit. Just for my purposes, I kind of like the feeling of shooting off of like a riser almost, kind of flat, but I do like that the grip is flat. It's got a flat area in the front and there's a little bit of friction there. It's a rubberized texture. So if your hand gets sweaty, or when you're shooting in the field, or even if you're kind of using this bow as 3D and you get a little bit nervous, I like that it gives you a little bit extra support. Something I really enjoyed from Hoyt this year was their custom bow builder. So I built this bow entirely online on Hoyt's website. You can choose your riser color, you can choose your limb colors, you can choose your string colors, and you can choose any accessories if you want to pick those up from Hoyt directly. And the bow is ready for me in about a month. So, some manufacturers have very long lead times this year. Again, if you've gone to some dealers this year, you well know what I'm talking about. And the fact that you can get a bow customized to you with your choice of all these colors and all these accessories basically in a few weeks, and this was just after the bow was released. I'm thrilled with that process from Hoyt this year. Looking at carryover features, the Alpha X still has the Picatinny sight mount. Now Hoyt was the first bow manufacturer to come to market with one of these. Now they're available on a number of different bow manufacturers' bows, which is great. They've also got an integrate arrow rest, and looking at the cams again, they've got the ability here for your string stop to make it a firmer or a less firm back wall just by flipping these stops around. You've also got 3 different let-off options of 75, 80, or 85%. I love adjustability in bows, and I love the fact that you can kind of make this bow feel like you want it to feel just by messing with these stops. It's a great idea from Hoyt, and one, again, I would love to see every manufacturer work with something like that. If you've watched my videos long enough, you'll know that draw cycle is about the most important feature for me of any bow, and this is an area where the Alpha X 33 absolutely shines. I've probably shot this bow more than any of the other hunting bows I've got in this year, sometimes because they came in a little bit late, or otherwise they just didn't fit me well. But this bow at 33-inch axle fits me perfectly. I love the draw cycle. It is as smooth as can be. This finished second in my favorite draw cycle of the year video. And you can watch that if you would like, but easily could have been first. I really like how this bow feels, and it is a pleasure to shoot. As far as stability goes, there's obviously no complaints for me on that end. I love how this bow shoots. Again, I love the longer axle to axle length, so I do tend to feel a little bit more stable at full draw personally. And again, that might be more of a mental thing than an actual physical difference, but my preference is to have a bow in that 32, 33 range for a hunting bow. That just fits perfect for me, and would also make this an excellent 3D bow. At least in my opinion. You can set this bow up, move the let off down to 75, play with the poundage, shoot yourself a fat arrow out of this thing, and this would be a fantastic 3D rig for half the year, and then turn it into a hunting rig for the second half of the year. So if you're looking for a do-everything bow, this would be very high on my list in that regard. Noise and vibration is an important consideration for a lot of hunters out there, and Hoyt is definitely on board with the idea, as the Alpha X 33 is a fantastic bow in that regard. It is as quiet to me and vibration free as the Matthews. I had those finishing at the top of both of those categories for me this year. I don't know if these new string dampeners are the change or just the geometry of the bow, but this bow is a pleasure to shoot as you're drawing and even after you let the arrow go. So kudos to Hoyt on getting this whole process figured out. To To test for speed, I set up the Alpha X 33 with 70 pounds of draw weight and 30 inches of draw length, and I shot a 350 grain arrow, an average of 321 feet per second, and I shot a 455 grain arrow, an average of 285 feet per second. Now that is on the slow end compared to the other bows I have tested this year, but for me personally, those numbers are perfect. 285 feet per second with that arrow is exactly where I want to be for a hunting arrow. I like to be in that 280 to 285 range when I'm shooting fixed blade broadheads, which are my preferred broadheads. And with that whole package, I can get this bow to shoot exactly like I want to. Now, if you are a speed person, if speed is a higher priority for you, this is not the fastest bow out there, and it's not the fastest bow from Hoyt. They have other options. They have a more compact bow than this that is a little bit quicker than this. So I will, suggest that you go to the Hoyt dealer, test them all out for yourselves and see which one works the best for you. But as someone who's lucky enough to have a long draw length and is comfortable shooting 70 pounds, this bow is an absolute home run for me. Now let's talk about fit and finish. And here I have a hard time complaining about anything because I picked out the color of the riser, I picked out the color of the limbs, and I picked out the color of the string. So if I don't like those, that's really realistically on me. But good news for me is I think it all looks great. I actually like the combination together quite a bit. I think maybe black limbs would have been a better choice with this riser to kind of have a little bit more contrast, but that's really just a personal preference. And everything is holding up great. I've shot this bow, as I mentioned, quite a bit over the last couple of months. The strings are looking still pristine. I'm not seeing even the slightest bit of string fuzz on these things. The peep is holding where I need it to hold. It's doing exactly what I want to do when you consider fit and finish. One possible area of concern for a lot of people is going to be price. And at $1,450, the Alpha X 33 is at the tip top of the spectrum for aluminum flagship hunting bows. If you want to save a little bit of money, the Alpha X 30 is $100 less, but that's still obviously a lot of money when you consider other flagship bows on the market. Now, there are some advantages that Hoyt gives you for that money. You do get to kind of customize your colors, like I mentioned at the top of the video, for no additional fee. They also are able to get you the bow very quickly this year, which is a bonus in my mind. And I do like the Picatinny sight and features like that. But again, if price is your number one concern, this might not be the best option for you. If you have a little bit more budget available, I think this is really a great choice, and you should head over to your local Hoyt dealer, test one out for yourself, see if it works for you. Archery Talk, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel an awful lot, and we'll see you soon.